Hey, Soraya, what's up? How's it going? Hey, what's up, folks? How's it going? I'm just waiting for enough people to join. I think we have 5 people on now. Let's see. We'll start when we got 15 or 20. Okay. Let's wait for 20 people, and then we can begin. But you can already ask your questions. Okay. If you have any questions, please type them in. I'll make sure to cover them. Yeah. It's always a pleasure. What's up, Corleone, Giovanni? Always a pleasure. Good. Okay, people are joining. 6. What's up? We're gonna start when we got 20 people on. Okay. Hey, Michael, what's up? I sent you an answer on Messenger, Facebook Messenger. Okay, check your messages, please. Yeah. Okay, 9 people. More people are joining. That's good. I'm just waiting till we got 20 people, and then we're gonna start. Yeah. Okay. Just checking. All right. 10 people. Guys, if you have any questions about magic and witchcraft in general, yeah, just type them in now.
Messenger Audio.
Yeah. Hey, what's up? Did you take a nap? Okay. You're still jet lagged, I guess. Yeah. Check the notifications on your phone. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm on YouTube. I'm live right now. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bye-bye. Okay. Like I said, if you have any questions, guys, please shoot. Now, I'm going to share a teaching with you. I'm going to share a teaching with you, or a mindset that I shared with people in my order yesterday, which I think everybody can benefit from it, right? Which is the concept of resistance and overcoming resistance, right? If you wanna lift something out of a water bottle, there's effort, or rather, there's resistance that I have to overcome, right? So lifting this thing up requires a little bit of overcoming of resistance, which is energy, right? Now the same principle you can see everywhere, okay? With whatever it is that you want to do, okay? Most people, however, don't see that, or I mean, not just most people, everybody, including myself, and then you, and whoever lives on this planet is built, or naturally has a tendency to avoid resistance, or to avoid exhaustion, if that makes sense. Okay, saving energy is the easier way to go. Avoiding effort, avoiding the uncomfortable stuff, right? So everybody has a natural tendency to avoid the resistance, or to avoid overcoming the resistance. Now, a better mindset is, listen, if I want to do something, if I want to create something, if I want to manifest something, I have to put up the exact amount of energy that is necessary to make it happen. You see? I really want you, do you see how powerful that mindset is? It's incredibly powerful, because at that point you're taking control. You're really taking control over things. You really put yourself into a position of being at cause, because there is nothing's unfair, really. I mean, whatever it is that you want requires you to put up the energy that is required to get it. You see? And the question is, are you willing to put up the amount of energy that it takes to get it? That's the only question that matters. Now, this resistance shows up in many different ways. It could show up as external problems. It could show up as people causing problems for you, or you yourself being blocked. Blocks in your own head and your own emotions. All right. So, are you willing to overcome those? And how do you overcome those? You focus on them. You push through. Okay. The universe works in a way where we got multiple layers, right? We got the mental layer. The mental layer is very easy to change. Okay. An idea is very easy to understand and to conceive of and to come up with. And there's also no scarcity of ideas. Now the question is, how do you bring an idea into the physical world? Well, you got to energize it. To make it simple, we consist of three different levels. We have a mental level, the level of thoughts. We have an emotional level, which is our energies, and then we got a physical level, right, in our own lives. So you're here, and you want to create a new physical state or something. You want to change something in the physical world, right? So at first, your mind goes there. You think of it, right? You conceive of the idea, and then you gotta. By focusing on the idea, the energy is going to go there too. Your emotional state is going to match the new thing. What you will then find is that it's very easy to then manifest that physically too. You see, it's very easy to then follow up with the physical part. Yeah, sometimes the physical part will come into place all by itself, right? Which is what we use in magic and witchcraft. The physical circumstances just show up by themselves. Yeah. Now, the bigger the goal, the more energy. Okay, meaning the resistance is in direct proportion to the amount of impact that you want to have, or to the amount to the size of the goal. The bigger the goal, the harder the goal. The more resistance you will have to overcome. The more energy it takes. You see. And you gotta focus the energy on it over longer periods of time, you see. So this is a very powerful concept. And if you use that in your life, that mindset is really going to help you a lot. I promise. Okay. So when you do your rituals, how do you make something happen magically? You focus on it mentally, on the idea, and then as you keep focusing on it, your emotions are going to match that. Your emotions are going to start matching the outcome. Yeah, and then 90% of the work's already done. So you are truly a master of your own life. You are the master of your own life, but you have been taught that everything has to happen instantaneously. It's not like that. Sometimes it takes time. It takes it takes some time for you to see the manifestations, Corleone Giovanni, how can I join your order? You would have to go through me. I would have to talk to you, or you would have to talk to me, and then we would have to schedule a call. And you can do that through my Facebook page. Yeah, it's probably do it through the Grail of the Serpent Facebook page. go there and tell me that, and then just write me a message that you want to join my order, and then we can jump on a call where we can kind of like figure out if you're a good fit. What are the benefits of getting the Grail of the Serpent tattooed? It's a protective symbol, you know. It's a protection symbol that allows you to call upon the energies of the Grail of the Serpent. The Grail of the Serpent is a big talisman, you know. It's a big talisman that anyone who wants to can call upon. Okay, I challenge you to do that next time when you're in a dangerous situation, or not dangerous, but a situation where you need help. Just call upon and say, say by the power of the Grail of the Serpent. I was teaching the ritual of the Grail of the Serpent, which is a short and sweet ritual that allows you to tap into that energy, and then things are going to work for you. Things are going to go your way. You see, so it's a big talisman that you can draw upon. Hey, what's up, Alex? Tristal Gothel, what's up, man? Hi, Frank. Good tidings. Thank you. I don't know what you mean, but okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Frank. You're very welcome. No problem. Hey, bro, Frank, I heard you say people have had crazy experiences with the tattoo. Me personally have not, but can you tell us some stories, what people experienced with it? Well, I get a lot of messages of people telling me that that things start going their way. They have this protection. They have this different energy about them. Okay. Generally speaking, and outside of that, I don't want to share stories of other people that they share with me in private. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so like I said, you can ask anything that you want. I just wanted to share this concept with you, because a lot of you guys want to. I don't know exactly what your goals or dreams are, but I know Michael, for instance, Michael wants to do music, right? He wants to be a famous rapper, Alex, I know, wants to be a fitness influencer. I don't know if that's the right word to say, but all of you guys have big goals, right? I assume. So the concept of this resistance is really, really helpful, because you're going to encounter so many problems. Listen, this Grail of the Serpent YouTube channel is not that big, but even at this size, I get so many psychos, which is not going to stop me from doing anything, of course. But what I'm saying is you get resistance, I was in legal battles because of it. I was in magical battles because of it. I was in, all kinds of things. And this is something that you're going to encounter all the time. And the bigger, the more of it, at one point you really have to lose the, what's the word? You grow with it, I would say. You would grow with it, meaning, especially when it comes to legal stuff. Okay, my recommendation would be, if you're planning on doing something like that, get ready for legal battles for sure. Okay, and desensitize yourself to that as soon as you can. A lot of people, when they have legal battles, the average person doesn't have that many legal problems, if that makes sense, or doesn't have that much of an experience with the legal system, right? Now, how the legal system in reality works very different from what you would see in a movie, which is where most people's ideas about that come from. So it's very helpful to desensitize yourself, to this stuff as early as you can. Does a thought form consist of one intention, or can a thought form you create exist to have more than one intention, or are they separate? it can become very complex. You can create a thought form that has very, very complex and a multitude of abilities and functions, but energy density is information density. So you need to feed a lot of energy into it so that it can have these multiple functions. A very simple thought form doesn't require as much energy as a very complex one. Yeah. What is that one G-Eazy song that invokes Lucifer? Well, it invokes it for me. I don't know if it invokes it for other people too. And I'm not going to share that stuff. This is something that I was sharing in the group. On the calls for the Lucifer path working, I can't share that here on the live stream. Or did I share it here? I don't know, because Tony Michael knows it. Okay, I see. Okay, 23 people. Yeah. The other day I made a post in my Facebook group, which is the following. Corleone Giovanni. I see you. I see you, bro. That's you, right? Corleone Giovanni. You just requested access. A brother that calls himself isn't that an Italian name? Two Italian names, Corleone Giovanni. It's funny. That's right. Okay, I'll add you later. Not a problem. You talked about if people use black magic, they could end up as junkies. Thoughts. You talked about if people. Oh man, listen. I never simplify things like that. I never said it like that. That's for sure. Okay, you could look. I mean, people that work out every day and live a very healthy lifestyle could end up as junkies too. There's what I might have said, because I didn't see that. I might have said that people that practice a lot of black magic and don't balance themselves and don't have basically a balanced life overall are unstable. Okay, and that could lead to things like that. All right. You didn't share it here, but I felt the energy of that song too. Okay, awesome. Finally, I'm on time. What could be the reason I sometimes get an incorrect reading with the pendulum? Oh man. Not being in the moment, having your mind wander, maybe. Center yourself in your third eye. That could help. Put your attention here and center yourself there. Which subliminal is more powerful for general good luck? The attract good luck subliminal or Bariel? Probably the attract good luck subliminal. Planning to purchase one of your courses, still haven't decided between Secrets of Manifestation or Magic Mastery. Well, the thing is, see, my teachings always upgrade. My teachings are always like evolving. So if you want to get in my opinion, the best stuff, you get the latest stuff. So I will be Money Magic Mastery in this case. Marlon, what's up? Marlon, Eric. Yeah. So, Thanks, Liz. That's very nice. It's really nice. Okay. Yeah, like I said, I made a post the other day. Okay, let me read that for you. I made a post here. Hey guys, this was in the Facebook group, the Grail of the Serpent in a Circle. Okay. Hey guys, in my 5 weeks program where I teach how to choose stocks based on astrology will begin September 18th. I will teach a small select group. Number one, asset classes. What are the different asset classes? How do you pick them? Then how do you analyze those asset classes? Technical analysis and fundamental analysis. How do you do that? Then different market strategies. Okay, what are different market strategies? Essentially, how do you approach the stock? Okay, short selling, for instance. Okay, short selling is going to be very important in the next couple of years. I promise you. Okay, this impact of Corona, this Corona impact has not hit yet. Okay, but in the later later this year and in the years to come, lots and lots of businesses are going to go down. The economy is going to go. Is going to be in a crisis, okay? And at that point, short selling is very important, okay? So that will be a strategy. How do you short sell? So how do you benefit from a company stock going down, right? And then how do you pick those based on astrology? I did one video. I think I did one video where I explained how you can use astrology to pick stocks. It's actually something that you can do. Okay. Now, if you're looking for sources on that topic, WD Gann would be a good one. Okay, let me put this into the chat here. If any of you guys wanna research a little bit, WD Gann. This guy, unfortunately he's dead. Okay, but he has one of the best track records of all time. Okay, and he used to do that in the 1920s, and he developed an entire theory that is based on astrology. Okay, on astrology and the markets. Okay, now there are many different approaches to this thing. What do I mean by that? To this thing, why can you use astrology to predict or determine where a stock is going to go? Well, because the economy is just the accumulation of many small transactions, you see. So when you look at you going to the store and buying something, that is one transaction, right? And the economy as a whole, you could say, is billions of transactions, or let's say, I don't know, a lot of number. I mean, a big number. A lot of those transactions all together. Okay, so if you are influenced by, let's say, weather patterns, for instance, and you are, okay, meaning through your emotions. When your emotions are affected through weather patterns, your behavior when it comes to consumption is affected as well. You see? So there are people who can use the weather report in order to predict what is going to happen during a specific period in the economy based on the weather. And that is then going to have an effect on certain stocks. I think that makes sense. Okay. Now, the weather is one approach you can take. And there is actually an ETF, I think multiple ETFs, that invest based on weather patterns. Okay. Now, when you look at what determines things, it's always best to go for the highest level. Okay. So everything's a system, and systems are influenced by bigger systems. Okay. A larger system. So what determines what determines what goes on the planet as a whole, meaning the collective unconscious, okay? The collective unconscious of us is affected, yeah, by the weather, you could say, but more than that, it's affected by astrology. The astrology, meaning the alignment of the planets and their position, affects the energetic environment that we live in. Yeah. Based on that, everything is going to be. There are people. I think I was. Can you guys still hear me? Is the connection good? Because I was just being told that my connection is not that great. The connection okay? Connection okay? Let me know. All right. Good. Okay. So what I was saying is, okay, thanks. So what I was saying is this. You can predict wars based on astrological patterns. Okay, maybe you will not be able to say exactly what words is going to happen, but you will know that there will be a war. Why? Because maybe there's a Mars Mercury opposition going on, which is basically miscommunication between governments. Okay, and that will lead to a certain conflict. So, see, world events always have an astrological counterpart. Okay. So, based on looking at astrology and looking at the timetables, you can know how things are going to develop in the world, if that makes sense, as a whole. And then, if you apply that knowledge to the stock market, you can make a big profit. Okay, that's actually possible. All right, but what you need is essentially you need to understand how to correlate those things. Let me give you an example. Okay, have you heard of a birth chart again? Anyone here heard of a birth chart? How that works? Have you ever heard of a birth chart? Please type in yes or no if you ever heard of one or haven't heard of one. Do you know how a birth chart works? I just want to know what level you guys are at when it comes to astrology. Yes. Okay. Yes. Good. Michael Dark, Tony Michael. There's so many Michaels today. Black Midnight, Secret Knowledge, Wasi. What's up, Wasi? Milakini. Hey, Milakini. I don't know how it works. I'm still learning about it. Okay, yes. Yes, my number is 11. They say it's the master number. Placement of planets and the time. Yeah, Michael, which is perception of duality. I don't think you got the right concept in mind right now, because a birth chart is something different. A birth chart is essentially the positions of your planet of the planets during the time of your birth. Okay, during the time and day that you were born, the planets had certain positions. Okay, and this position or their positions determine your birth chart. It's a combination of different energies, and that determines your character, your natural inclinations, your tendencies, and your destiny to an extent. Okay. Now, if you know the time and the place of somebody's birth, time and place, yeah, time and place, that's what you need, day, time, and birth, then you will be able to create a birth chart for that person. Okay. And you will be able to know how they're going to feel and what their challenges are going to be 2 years from now. Why? Because, see, the planets are going to be in a certain position, and let's say The Venus in their birth chart has is problematic, in a problematic position. It means that their love life is going to be affected, or anything that is ruled by Venus, meaning their what could that be? Their love life, their friendships, their you know the physical, their physical looks could be affected in some way or another, right? So you will be able to know 2 years from now, during this time frame, you're going to have a challenge in this area of life. All right. Now, when a stock of a company is published, which is called an IPO, initial public offering, a lot of you guys might have heard of ICOs, which is what's the new introduction of a crypto coin. Okay, initial coin offerings. But right now we're talking about the normal stock market, Okay, the traditional ones where basically fiat and where shares of companies are being traded back and forth, right? So an initial public offering is the issuing of a stock, meaning when the first time a company sold their shares. Okay, a birth chart for stocks. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about here. Okay, that allows you to create a birth chart for stocks. The IPO is a certain time and place. Okay, so for instance, New York Stock Exchange, which is the biggest one in the world. I don't know, Monday, September 19th, or whatever the fuck that day is. I don't know. Doesn't matter. So Monday, September 13th, there's a new IPO at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Boom. What you do is you take this data, you have the date, you have the place, New York, and you got the time. All right, 9 a.m. on September 13th, 2021. Boom, now you got a birth chart. Right? So based on that, you will know how the stock is going to do, 6 months from now. Are the negative aspects going to be more? Are there? And if it has more negative aspects than positive aspects, guess what? The share price is probably going to go down. You see what I mean? You don't even have to know what's going on macroeconomically, like in the larger economy. That's somewhat relevant, but the outcome, who cares why? All I want to know is how the stock's going to do. Okay, so you can position yourself in the right way. I don't know, buy low, sell high. Or wait till you buy that stock because the price is going to drop, and then you look at the fucking birth chart again, and okay, 2 months from now, wow, lots and lots of positive aspects. Okay, and then boom, it goes up and you sell. You see, and now can you apply that to the crypto market too? I see, like for ICOs. I believe are pretty good. I mean, a lot of you guys are probably into that, I mean, we have an adoption rate of crypto that is higher than it was for the mobile phone as well as for the internet. I don't know, some multiple hundred percentages per year. Okay, so the adoption more than doubles every year. Okay. Adoption means more and more people are getting into the space and are using cryptos and buying cryptos and stuff like that. So there's kind of like a gold rush going on right now because when you get in today or when you get it now, you're still at the forefront, and all this money that's going to come in later with mainstream. The mainstream is just going to take every share, no matter. You can almost buy any share, and be sure that it's going to it's going to go up. If there's more liquidity in the market, every share is going to go higher. Okay, so even if you don't pick the best coin, since you're here at the forefront, a lot of people coming in, they're just going to make the prices go up. Okay, but that's something else. But the bottom line is you can do the same thing for coins, for cryptos that are being issued. Okay, they also have a birth chart. Yeah, but another aspect that you can look at is, for instance, let's say a cosmetics company, or what industry is that company in? It could be a cosmetics industry, it could be tech, it could be yeah. What industries are out there? What kind of industries exist? And every industry is ruled by a certain planetary industry. Planetary intelligence or planetary energy. Okay, so cosmetics and beauty products, for instance, would be ruled by could be ruled or will be ruled by Venus. For sure. Health products will probably be ruled by Mercury, something like that. You see. So the bottom line is this. You could also just look at the planets and how they are being afflicted. Okay, so let's say Venus has a positive influence right now. Okay, so or rather, Venus is conflicted right now. Venus is in opposition with Saturn, for instance. Saturn always means restriction. Okay, it always restricts things. Okay, that means that if the Venus in that birth chart is conflicting with Saturn, it means that in the physical world, that could look like new regulations coming in that make it harder for that product to be sold, which depresses the share price. Okay, that will be a physical manifestation of what you're seeing there in astrological terms. Yeah. So you analyze the birth chart. You look at what the planets are doing, and based on that, you will be able to know how a certain stock is going to be doing in the past and in the future. Okay. And I'm just talking about stocks here, but the same thing applies to derivatives. Derivatives. What are derivatives? Derivatives are options, futures, stuff like that. CFDs. It means you don't need to buy the actual stock. You can buy sort of like a bet on how the stock's going to do, and that for the fraction of the price of the actual stock. Okay. And you can also use that to hedge your own bets and many other things. Bottom line is, though, astrology is a great source of knowledge for that stuff. Okay. And the best theory on that is by W.D. Gann. Best one I know. Okay. So like I said, like I read it to you earlier, that's what I am teaching in a 5-week. 5-week, is that a seminar? It's not. I wouldn't call it a seminar. It's a 5-week program. Okay. Like I said, 5-week program where I teach the different asset classes. Okay, what are different asset classes? What is an asset class? An asset class is, I don't know, real estate, bonds, stocks, cryptos, all of these things, right? And how do you analyze things? Analysis is essentially, you got 2 ways of analyzing something. You look at fundamental analysis and you look at technical analysis. Technical analysis is probably what you know from like day trading screens where they look at the different chart patterns, right? And then you got fundamental analysis, which is you look at the company numbers. Okay. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be able to teach you everything in 5 weeks, but I can give you a very good overview of things. So you're then going to have to take what you learn there and study in depth, depending on where you want to go deeper with it, right? Because it's impossible to give you all of like everything in 5 weeks, right? But what I can give you is the top 20%. Okay, we always want to use Pareto, right? We always want to use Pareto in whatever we do. Okay, pyramid, top 20% covers 80%. It gives you 80% of the results. And this is exactly what we're going to do here. I'm going to give you 20% of the knowledge that you need in order to be able to navigate very well. All right. So, asset classes, analysis methods, market strategies. What are different market strategies? Like I said, short selling is a market strategy. You could also do buy and hold. You could do, a strategy is essentially just your approach to how you wanna invest yourself in there, right? And I'm a big fan of total return. Okay, this is also something that George Soros would do, for instance. Okay, total return means that, if you look at most funds and ETFs, they're always happy when they get like 4 or 5%. Okay, 4 or 5%. Now, if you invest with a fund, they have to be very conservative because there are all kinds of regulations, and it's very dangerous. If they do something wrong, somebody might go to jail, right? That's not true for retail investors or somebody that does it with their own money. You have very, very few regulations on what you can do with it, right? So you can have a total return strategy, which means what? You want to make double-digit returns minimum, okay? So more than 10% minimum in all market cycles. The markets are always going to go up and down, because what are the reasons for markets going up and down? We have seasons, for instance, okay? Seasons. Let's say the roofing industry, for instance, or building buildings or houses. Yeah. That's a seasonal industry because in winter it's not gonna be as easy to build a house versus summer or spring. Yeah, so it's a seasonal thing. So there are many seasonal industries, and supply and demand will make certain industries more. Will make certain industries boom more than others, right? So it's always an up and down. It's always an up and down. It's always an up and down. But short selling, or rather the total return approach, is always you want to be able to benefit whether it goes up or down. Okay, and for that you need short selling as well as normal like investing, if that makes sense. So the market strategy that I prefer is definitely total return. And then knowing all of that and combining that with astrology, I think that's what every magician should do. Okay, like I already told you about my approach to all of this stuff, money magic. I even have this program out there, Money Magic Mastery, where it's probably not what most people would have expected. Now, of course, there's magic involved there, but you need to understand the topic first before you can use magic to improve it, you see. And the same with this. Why do we not apply this occult knowledge to benefit ourselves in all areas of life? Okay. Yeah, astrology might help you to figure out your past life. It might help you to find your purpose in life. It might help you to know your weaknesses and strengths. But why not apply it? Or why not use it to make a bigger return in the stock market? You see, And I'm really surprised that nobody talks about that. Nobody, or very, very few people. Like all of these magicians out there, nobody fucking talks about that stuff. Why? Why not? You see. As magicians, we have made it our mission to overcome the challenges of the physical world. The physical world is set up as a challenge. It's a big fucking shit test. It's a big challenge, okay? Testing the strength of our spirit, you see, and we are here to take charge of it all. We're using intelligence and we're using secret knowledge to do that, okay? And this. it's probably never going to come back. You know, I'd always do these experiments, or rather, I you know, seminars and stuff like that I've done, and then programs like that. I usually only do them once, and then never come back. You see, because I just want to give people the opportunity to do what they want. Now, you might ask me, Frank, why do you teach that stuff? That's a question that I get quite some time, because I wouldn't have to. But I teach it because I know that, and that's something that you might learn as well at one point, which is, in order for you to evolve, you have to help other people to evolve, because it's all one consciousness at the end of the day. So I have to teach in order to grow, you see. Just like when you reach a very high level of martial arts, you cannot retire. What you do is you start teaching, okay? You have to teach in order to keep growing. It's the law of the universe, okay? That's how I live my life. That's the entire idea behind the Grail of the Serpent. That's why I do this here. Because if I help others grow, I grow. It's a give and take. And it's not about the person per se. It's not, of course, I appreciate you guys and everybody who's on, and everybody who's a follower, and everybody who, you know, who's interested in what I have to teach. Of course, I appreciate that. Okay? I appreciate you guys, absolutely. But it's not about the person per se. You see what I mean? It's not about a person. Now, of course, I'm happy if you benefit from it, but it's more about my relationship with the universe, okay? It's about my relationship with the universe, because at the end of the day, we're all just an expression of the universe. And the energy that you put out is the energy that's going to come back, you see? So what happens to me if I spend an hour every day, like, empowering people's mind and spirit? What do you think is going to happen? And I'm doing that with 30 people all at once. 32 people all at once. I mean, I think 31. I think 32 is including myself. So I'm sitting here for 1 hour, and I'm giving people game that they probably never heard before. And I help them see things from a different perspective. And hopefully I give them the ability to see something new and evolve. You see what I mean? So what do you think is going to happen? That's going to come back, because the energy that you put out is going to come back in some way or another, you see? So that's why I'm doing it. And that's why I want to give those people that are interested in that the opportunity to take part in it, because I'm going to be blessed for it again. I mean, the blessing is going to come back. I'm going to bless people on this program. No question, okay? They're going to be blessed with knowledge that very, very few people have. For sure, okay? And that's for life. You got that for life. Think about it. You got that for life. You know? And then that's going to come back to me. Oh, damn. Just learned something new. You see, Jamara? You just learned something new. Awesome. That's all going to come back to me. It's all going to come back to me. Can you make custom subliminals? Is that a possibility? Yes, please text my, in fact, I actually, just the other day, I think it was Sunday, somebody asked me for four customized subliminals, and I agreed to do them. Yes, that's possible, but you're gonna have to, so you would have to message me on the Grail of the Serpent fan page. People like keeping good knowledge to themselves. Greetings. Yeah. Appreciate you, Frank. Well, thank you, man. Just coming in. So do you charge for teaching in order for the universe to bless us? Just coming in. So do you charge for teaching in order for the universe to bless us? Well, I mean, there are multiple things going on here, okay? So first of all, everything is an energy exchange, okay? The way to exchange energy, if I give you something, you cannot receive it without giving something. Do you get that? You cannot receive it without giving something. That's actually a law in the universe. If you were to illegally download a course, even if you look at all the material, you will not be able to integrate it, because you're violating a law here. You see what I mean? In order for me to take in new water every day, I have to go pee every day. You see what I mean? The water that I had in me yesterday is no longer in my body. Okay, maybe some of it, but a lot of it was, I peed it out. That's how the universe works. You understand? So if I give you energy, energy has to flow back so that you can receive it. So it's more or less about you. I charge you so that you can actually make use of that information. If I would not charge you, or the people on the seminars and stuff like that, they would not be able to use it, you see? And I also, look, it's an investment. If you don't invest in it, you're not going to be able to finish it, okay? That's for you to finish it. That's for you to hold you accountable. And it's all of the universe, all of the world is a give and take. It is what it is. Yeah. Where do you think I got that from? What do you think I did to acquire that? Where do you think it comes from? Yeah. Where do you think that comes from? What do you think I had to pay for it? What do you think I had to do for it? You see? So it's an energy exchange. It's an energy balance. How much will the program cost? You can inquire about that. Message me on Facebook. Okay, message me on Facebook. I really like the Grail subliminal, very hypnotic. Okay, good. And there's also something else, Yamara, which is essentially, look, your relationship with money determines how much money you can make. You see what I mean? So people make money the way they spend it. Okay, people make money is just energy. Okay, the first thing that we have to do is we have to stop being so emotional about it. Okay, we have to be unemotional about that stuff. It's essentially energy. What you want more of in your life, you feed energy. What you want more of in your life, you pay for, and you put money towards it. Okay. So when you have money in your life, see that as energy units. Where do you put it? Where do you put it? The only reason, if there is a scarcity of those energy units, the only reason for that is because you're not putting out enough value, so that money flows back to you. That's it. Okay. So what you need to do is you need to create value, and you need to put it out into the world, and then use that money to reinvest into the things that you want. Okay. For instance, in the things that help you to create value, not into objects. That's bullshit, of course. I mean, you can buy objects, but who is really satisfied by fucking objects? That's retarded, right? So that's my philosophy when it comes to that stuff, And a way to create value is found in that course. Yeah, value for yourself, of course. It's a lifelong skill. When you learn this, what I put in here, you're gonna have that for life. You're gonna be able to use that for life. Give and take understood. What if a person bargains? What if a person bargains? What if a person bargains? I don't know. That's a little bit of a I never looked at it like this. Let me see. It's maybe a little bit of a general question. I understand it's hard to get your point across in I don't know, 55 characters or less, whatever they give you there. Yeah. Okay. What if a person bargains? What if a person bargains? I really don't know how to answer that, man. Like the course is what, $100,000 but pays $1. Well, then look, bro. Energy has to be. I cannot pee one drop and drink 500 fucking ounces of water. You see what I mean? I would explode. It's an imbalance. So if I drink 1 ounce of water, I pee less than when I drink 10 ounces of water. And most likely I will pee 10 times more. You see? So that's how it works. Everything has to be in balance. You see? If you're a lady and you want a man, if you're like a real man, like a real relationship with a man, there are certain things that you have to give in order to receive that. The same as a guy. If you want a woman to be compliant, if you want a woman to be whatever it is that you want her to be, whatever you want as a guy, you have to do something. You have to create something. You have to give her a certain amount of value so that she does that in return. And the value is not money. Okay, I don't know. That's what a lot of guys think, but it's not money. Okay. So, and what if the course is 100 and I pay 100,000? I like overpay. Well, the same principle. It's not going to look. Anyone, in spite of what you might think about that stuff, in spite of what you might think about business and all that stuff, or exchange, there is like an invisible control there, which means that people that are shady, people that over long periods of time or over a certain amount of time live in imbalance, meaning either they extract too much or give too much. Both are going to suffer in some way or another. Okay. So if you, as a person that is offering things, don't put up the same amount of value that you charge, okay, or it doesn't even out, you're hurting yourself. It's not going to work long term. You can't do that. Okay. I know that's a narrative that's out there, like, but it in reality, those people crash and burn very, very fast. Okay, and it's because that's the law of the universe. Okay, but isn't giving more a sign of abundance? Yeah, I mean, in an instant, but you can't do that long term. You shouldn't. Look, I mean, I don't think you should give too much. Why would you do that? Let me give you an example, okay? Here's the thing, then. Money is a form of energy, just like everything else, and it follows its own rules. It's almost like a spirit. You can treat money like a spirit, okay? And in order to be in alignment with that spirit, meaning in order to be in harmony with that spirit, you have to do things in a certain way, okay? And one of those is, for instance, money follows attention, for instance, okay? Money follows attention. Let me give you an example. You walk through a mall. You're walking through a mall, and let's say you're a woman, and you walk through the mall, and boom, a dress catches your attention. Boom, your attention is on it. Remember, your attention is now on the dress. So you get closer. You put it on, try it on. Okay, it fits. So your attention stays on the product. Your attention stays on the dress, and then you buy it. Boom, transaction made. Energy changed hands, and the way to do that was capturing attention with a product or with value. Okay, value is what allows the transition of this form of energy, which is money. Okay, so attention, product in the middle equals transaction. Okay, now so coming back to your question here, these things have to be they have to be in balance. Okay, so you cannot charge. A person will pay what they believe the value is. You see what I mean? So if it's an ugly dress, you will not be able to charge $1,000. But if the dress is valuable, if the dress is I don't know, very beautiful, whatever determines the value of that dress, you will be able to charge more. Okay, so overall, it always has to balance itself out. Does it make sense? Also, the attention that is being attracted needs to be positive attention. Okay, imagine two people. Okay, let's say a homeless person that is sitting at the corner and is just pulling in money. It's just pulling in money. Okay, he's sitting at the corner and maybe he has a sign, whatever. I need money for food. Okay, this person is a leech. Okay, like I'm not making a judgment here in terms of character. Whatever happened to that person, I don't know, but that it is a leech. He is extracting things without giving things back. Now, in contrast, think about a street performer, for instance. Okay, a street performer, maybe he's like does stand up. Okay, maybe he does stand up and makes people laugh, and the attention on that person, which is also energy, is going to be much different than the attention on the homeless person. Even though people might give him money here and there, it's not going to be positive attention. It's not going to be beneficial attention. It's energy, but it's the wrong, or it's not an ideal type of energy, right? Whereas the guy that does stand up, that's positive attention. Think about it. Laughter, positive energy. And then let's compare the hats of those two people at the end of the day. Who's going to have made more? Who's going to walk away with more money in his hat? It's, of course, the person with the stand up, the person that attracted positive energy by putting out value. Does that make sense? So everything has to be balanced out, if that makes sense. So the way to attract money is you got to attract positive attention. If you attract positive attention long enough, it's inevitable, it's almost inevitable to translate that into money. Once again, great example. Aren't there multimillionaire comedians, for instance? What does a comedian do? What is the value that a comedian creates? What is that value? Well, he gives people a good time, he makes them laugh. And the attention that people send him or have on him is laughter. It's positive attention. You see what I mean? And that is, you can take that and transfer it into money very, very easily. Okay. Very easily. And money is just one form. Okay. There's also social capital and many, many other forms of value. Okay. But always understand money as energy. Money is energy, and it follows, the energy of money follows attention, negative attention as well. But it's always better to have positive attention, beneficial attention. Okay. That's why I never understood why women complain about attention. Well, obviously, I have a hard time putting myself into the shoes of a woman for the most, I guess. But a lot of women complain about attention that they get. But that's actually power if you think about it. You can, if you do it the right way, if you use it the right way, you can easily transfer that into a lot of stuff. And I'm not talking about OnlyFans here. Okay? Don't get me wrong. Okay, I'm not saying that women should do that stuff. In fact, I think that's disgusting. I'm not judging here, but personally, I think that's not cool, because I mean, anybody can do whatever they want, but I don't think you would have to do that. Okay? Why would you let? I actually think that's devaluing yourself if you do that. But my connection is not stable. Hold on. Hey. Guys, can you hear me? I was just shown that my connection is not ideal. Okay, cool. Can you guys hear me? Okay, awesome. Hold on. Comment here. Hey Frank, yes, I notice if I am not desperate for money, it flows to me more. Yeah. Okay. In physics, energy is transferred from one stage to another. Example, light to heat. Is the same process done with magic? If so, what is a good energy source to use? Example, your own life force, sex, etc. Okay, I'm not completely sure if I 100% agree with what you said here. Okay, in physics, energy is transferred from one stage to another. Example, light to heat. Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Let's assume that's true. Which, yeah, you got a point here. So here's the thing: the manifestation works from in terms of density. Okay, density is just particles per unit of space, if that makes sense. Okay, so the more units of energy you got in a certain space, the more density you have. All right. So what you have to do is you have to when it comes to manifestation, you're creating these thought forms. When you imagine something, it's almost like this shell of a future occurrence or something that you want to manifest. Okay, and now that shell has to be filled up with attention and energy. Energy. Okay, what form of energy? What is a good source of energy? At the end of the day, you're always using life force, and life force is essentially it's orgone all around us. Okay, orgone or chi prana. Okay, and that is directed through concentration. You can also use I mean, the energy raised when you do sexual activity. Yes, that's good energy, but you have to direct it. You see, that's the key. You can use sexual stimulation to raise a lot of energy, but then you have to direct it too. Okay, and the most important thing is concentration, meaning being able to completely focus on what you want to manifest. Okay, that is the key. All right. Frank, I have to make a post about your subliminal. My results have been crazy, especially with psychic seduction. Well, that is awesome. Yeah, please do. Um, Hold on. When will the meditation program start, which you said, and what's the price of it? We haven't decided on a starting date yet. But the price is going to be around $50 a month, and you get 4 lectures for it, one lecture per week, and it's going to be $50. Hold on, there was a question before. Nicole asks, "Hi Frank, when are we starting?" The program starts on the 18th. If you already subscribed, you should be in a messenger group. If not, just let me know and I'll add you. Okay, don't mean any disrespect, but I think people who always look for something for nothing are losers. Even some animals understand exchange. I 100% agree with you. Totally. What will happen to leeches? What do you think of YouTube ads? Are they good exchange for the video we watched? Well, nothing's for free, including social media. You know, social media costs your attention. Social media costs your energy, and much more. So yeah, I mean, it depends. You know, I think for the videos that I watch, the ads are definitely worth it. Okay, I mean, I sacrifice like 5 seconds, sometimes a minute, in order to watch a lecture from Harvard. Okay, you know what? I mean, we all know the tuition of Harvard is pretty high. You know, what do you pay to go to Harvard? I think it's 50 grand a year. I'll sit there for 5 seconds and click away an ad to watch a lecture from Harvard, you know, or to listen to incredible people. Absolutely. But if you watch music videos all day, of course that's probably not worth it. You know. You know. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, music is that's a whole different example. Okay. First of all, I don't think it's cool to be ghetto. I think it's retarded. Okay. It's who wants to be ghetto? I don't think that's cool at all. Like, is anyone here who thinks it's cool to be ghetto? That's number two. Um, you know, it used to be people rapping to get out of the ghetto, right? But now I don't know. They want to be like. I mean, I heard this. I heard the song, and not voluntarily. Okay, I was just playing at a car, and I think it was this little kid, or a little kid, 16-year-old or 18. I don't know, like some young kid. All they rap about is shooting people and getting getting hosed, and I don't know if that's cool. I mean, what you have to understand is that somebody decides who gets pushed, right? Somebody is sitting in a corporate office and is deciding what rapper gets a deal or not, right? So think about it. If there are private prisons, okay, if there are private prisons, and by the way, these private prisons sue the state. They sue the state if they are not full, okay, because it damages their profits. And this is not a joke, okay? So the private prison, which is a corporation, has to have the prisons full, okay? And they can sue the state if they don't have enough prisoners. I mean, what the fuck does that mean, right? So don't you think there's a connection? You know? So how do you get people to end up in prison? Okay, mass incarceration and all that stuff. How do you do that? Oh, you know, this is subliminal programming. Okay, like what's gonna happen to a kid? You know, like these all he hears all day is about shooting people, killing this, killing that, destroying things, blah blah blah. You know, it's cool to be ghetto and all that shit, right? So what's gonna happen to that kid? They don't have the they don't have the ability um, to make a good decision, okay, or to figure out what the game actually is, and that they're just uh, you know that they're the new material for these institutions, you know. So music out there for the most part is I can't stand it. I can't listen to it to most of it. You know, I'm more like old school. I listen to 90s hip hop and early 2000s sometimes. You know, even though I'm not perfect, I listen to gangster rap too. But I think music is really dangerous and it's really used against people for real. I'm probably not even telling you anything new. You probably heard of that before, right? But it's rare that people make it that clear. You know, like it's an industry. It's an industry that is using people's suffering and man, 20, 30 fucking years. You know, I don't know what kind of sentences these people get. You know, their whole life is spent in a fucking cell. You know, and it's a fucking industry. It's so disgusting. Yeah. And yeah, people are used as cattle. It's disgusting, man. It's really bad. It's a bad situation. And the music industry doesn't help. And I believe 100% that's intentional. Why don't they push conscious rappers? Go read a book or stuff like that. Why don't they? Why don't they listen to? Why don't they have lyrics like that? I don't think that's crazy. Can you break that down, please? What exactly? Where do you get such info? I had no idea I had no idea the state could sue them. Wow. Well, it's actually the other way around. They can sue the state if they don't have enough prisoners. Meaning, if the state doesn't provide enough prison population, they sue the state. Not all rappers want to write about that shit, but that's what sells more. Well, you might have a point there, but there's also like who gets pushed. You see what I mean? Who gets pushed? Who gets signed? Who gets signed? Who gets the deals? You see? Have you ever listened to Talib Kweli? Technically better, like his technical rap skills are better than 99% of the rappers out there. But he's a conscious rapper, so he's never going to get pushed. Oh, the fact of private jail things suing is insane. Yeah. What about metal music? Yeah, most of it. I don't like it. Do you listen to death metal or any sorts of metal? I listen to a little bit of new metal. Yes. Yes. I moved back to Washington. It's good for you. Is exchange always happening even between friends and family, and also even between trees and plants, like we take oxygen from them? Yes, absolutely. We get oxygen from them. They live off our CO2 that we breathe out. Yeah. Everything is a symbiotic relationship, or it should be ideally. Okay. Even if it's not symbiotic, it should be evenly exchanged. What is the benefit of why do parents raise their children? Because 50% of their DNA is going to survive. There is a selfish interest behind that. Why do you help your friends and family? Because they will help you, hopefully, in a bad situation. Immortal Technique is a good rapper. Yeah. Common is another good rapper. Okay. Yeah. There are a lot of good rappers, yeah, but they're not pushed that much, I believe, right? Are they? Okay. Can anybody join the meditation group? Yeah. If you're, look, if you join the meditation group, you will have to sign a waiver, which is basically a waiver is basically for my and the teacher's protection. Carl Miller is going to teach that meditation program, not me, and there has to be some protection in place. Okay, so everybody who wants to join the meditation program has to sign a waiver, which essentially states that you're doing this at your own risk. It's not that it's dangerous, but look, what if a lot of people are not very mentally stable? Okay, so I don't know. They might have a bad day after the meditation, and then they blame it on the meditation or something like that. Which is ridiculous. But the point is this: we got to make sure that everybody who's on signs off on being mentally stable and adult, and that's it. And everything is their own responsibility, and that they respect the laws of their own land. It's It's a very normal process, but outside of that, everybody can join. Absolutely. And everybody can benefit from that. Carl is very good at what he does, for sure. I don't know. That's crazy. Okay. Can you break that down, please? I think I answered that before. Amen. I'm surprised more people don't know. Yeah. Okay. How do you charge a Solomon steel necklace with the energy you want to attract? Oh man. You have to start resonating with that energy. How do you resonate with a certain energy? You resonate with a certain energy by becoming the energy. Okay, so you become the energy in thoughts, feelings, and actions. So try to tune yourself to the energy, and then push the energy that is in you into the sigil. That's how I would do it. Why would Lucifer appear to someone? What does he resonate with, and what would he teach someone? He reappears around. He appears around my friend at work who has a problem with drinking. I was curious. Oh man, that could be 1,000 different. I mean, that could be really any number of different things. I don't want to speculate here. I don't want to lead you into something that is not true. You know. Is there something specific one should do while listening to Barrios and relax? You should relax yourself. You should relax yourself. Okay, but back to the program, man. That I'm letting you know about here. Okay, a lot more people joined. I think 20 more people since I started this, or since I started talking about this. And hold on. A question: Cosmic Bay from YouTube, from Facebook. Cosmic Bay. We were talking on Messenger. Are you on right now? I sent you the link for this live stream, the link to my YouTube channel. Are you on right now? No visualization, just relax. When you relax deeply enough, the visuals are going to come all by themselves. You don't have to create them. Why do you think they made such a rule that a jail can sue the state for not sending prisoners? Why do you think they made that? Isn't that obvious? Profits. Profit, man. Profit. It's well, why? Isn't that obvious? I mean, if they don't have enough prisoners, it means, look, it works like this. They get paid per prisoner, and it's like 30 grand a year or something like that on average per prisoner. Okay. They're essentially, look, what is a private prison? A private prison is essentially a facility that does the job of the government. And apparently, some people believe that a private institution, a privately run business can do that better than the government, which is true in a lot of cases, but certain things should never be privatized. Just like the healthcare system, for instance, okay? One of the big problems of the US, for instance, the United States, is that healthcare is privatized for the most part. You know, when you privatize something, you have a corporation, and a corporation, first and foremost, cares about their profits. And that's why the healthcare system in the US, for instance, is the most expensive, meaning healthcare costs the most and is the least efficient of all the industrialized nations. Okay, so you get the least for the most money, because if you have profit incentives that are the highest, what's the word? The first rule is profit. It means that you can sell insulin at 50 times the price that you would get it in a country that does not have private healthcare. Okay. And the same applies to a prison system as well. Okay. Why do a lot of people in the US get insane prison sentences for bullshit, for smoking weed? 12 years for smoking weed. Are you fucking kidding me? That doesn't happen in other, like maybe in some crazy, I don't know, dictatorships and all that stuff. Okay. But over here, you, like, let's say in Europe, you hardly get a slap on the wrist. If you get almost nothing. Okay, and I get it. In a lot of states, it's legal to smoke weed. Yeah, but for a lot of other stuff, it's just outrageous, and there's a reason for it. Who do you think owns the stocks, or a lot of the stocks in those private prisons? The judges. Okay. Judges own stocks in private prisons. Okay, so the more people they lock up and the higher the sentences, the more that their stocks go up and the more profits they make. It's dirty. It's dirty business. It's very, very dirty. Okay, so yeah, it's sad. So that's the reason why. And if you create a cultural impact that makes it cool to be a gangster, where you have young impressionable kids that will do that shit that they say on tape, or that will do that shit that is mentioned in songs. You have a pipeline where you got lots of young kids being corrupted and ending right where you can profit from them. Okay, it's all one big industry. It's messed up. Yeah. Why do you think they made such a rule that a jail can sue the state for not cake? Well, yeah, that's why. Because you can use that to make a profit. That is unethical. You got it. It's very unethical. When you have invoked a spirit for a long time every day, will you be able to call that spirit via some sort of trigger word or gesture if you so choose? Yeah, if that trigger word gets you back into that state, yes, absolutely. Doesn't unethical businesses will eventually be destroyed? Well, look, just because those people have money doesn't mean that they're happy. Okay, so the people suffer for what they do. Absolutely, there is definitely a form of karma that they suffer from. Okay, yeah, 100%. I listen to the ends when I'm doing work that doesn't require strong concentration. Great for productivity. I do that too. When I let's say when I read or do something in terms of I mean, for most of the time, I actually listen to subliminals too. Certain things. You can even read a book, except for when I meditate. Meditation and listening to subliminals at the same time is probably not a good idea. But I listen to subliminals all the time. It's wrong to send young kids to jail for pot. Hell yeah, it's wrong to do that. Yeah. Yeah. Why is it not a good idea to meditate with a subliminal? I do it daily. Well, it depends on what your goal is with the meditation. I meditate to clear my mind, and when I want to clear my mind, it's not good to have subliminals running there. You see, but if your objective is to reprogram your subconscious, yeah, you can definitely close your eyes and use subliminals. Okay, so guys, like I said, I actually did this live stream to inform you about this 5-week program. Okay, 5-week program. Essentially, the goal is how to teach you how to pick stocks based on astrology. Okay, that is the goal. But before that, you have to know other things. Okay, we're also going to cover those. And in the last week, then we're going to cover the actual astrology part. If you are interested in that, please send a message to my Facebook fan page. Okay. 1 second. I'll post the link here. I'll post the link here in just a second. Yeah. Okay, where is that? Grail of the Serpent. Where's that page? Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a link. Okay. So send a message to that fan page, and then we can talk about you getting on that program. The stuff you put out is very good. Highly recommend it. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. What is the best way to create your future self? Writing down the attributes and meditate, or create body of light? I think it comes down to the same thing. To be honest, I think the result will be the same thing. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up now. Hope you got something out of this. And like I said, if you want to be on that program, let me know. Okay, bye.